Yeah, so why I go to my leasing office today to renew my lease and they was telling me how my rent is going to increase by like $600.
Goddamn.
Ever wonder how much it costs to live in a camper? It's not as cheap as you might think.
And I do love this house. I love everything about this house. I've come to the realization that I can't stay here because I can't afford to.
You know, I live full-time in an RV and we're trying to get a new RV and they're just super expensive.
Call it a mobile home, call it a trailer, but either way, we're buying one.
People are buying storage sheds from Home Depot and converting them into homes. The billionaires have already bought those too.
Is that right? People been doing this, so the billionaires then caught on, huh?
I just got our rent renewal and it's going up by $300 a month.
Bro, that is crazy. $300 is crazy.
$300 for a one-bedroom apartment that is not updated in any sort of way.
Right.
We already pay, with all the fees and everything, $2,000 a month, and now we're going to be paying $2,300 a month for this tiny apartment.
22.6 million renters in the US are now cost burdened, meaning they're spending more than 30% of their income just on housing and utilities. People are working 40, 50 hours a week, but half their paycheck is gone before they've even bought groceries, gas, or had any fun. So naturally, people start thinking, why am I paying someone else's mortgage? I should just buy a house. And that's where the next trap lies. The median single-family home hit over $400,000 in 2024. That's 5 times the median household income.
Is 5 times the median household income. Yeah, bro, it's like these days, man, you got to be making $100,000 just to be able to even afford a house. Because to even put, see, with an FHA, you could put like 3% down, but what good is 3% when the interest rates are 6%? You know what I'm saying? And home prices are $500,000, bro. You could put 3% down, but your payment finna be damn near $3,000 a month. It's like, bro, and I say that because that's the least you can put down on that property, right? So you don't need that big of a down payment, right? But for you to even get a comfortable monthly payment mortgage, right, you need to be making above average income just to afford an average home. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't make no sense.
To afford the monthly mortgage payment on that home.
And then that's you putting down $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 just to get that payment to where, if you wasn't making $600 or over $100,000 a year, and you making that average income, that you can actually afford that mortgage payment. It's like, bro, people are not able to even save up to get a good enough down payment in today's market on these properties to even get their payment low enough to where it even makes sense. Like, they can't even save up that much money. It's crazy.
You need to earn at least $126,000 a year.
Damn.
Out of the 46 million people who rent in the US, only 6 million of those people make that amount of money each year. That means mathematically, 87% of renters will never own a home.
So I was just out on a walk right now and check out these homes next to this path that I'm on. I was looking these homes up on Zillow, and you're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $615,000, $625,000, $650,000 for these really tiny houses. I mean, they're not very
They don't look tiny. They 2 stories.
big. You can see the properties they're sitting on are tiny, and yet people...
Yeah, man, they build these houses so close to each other. They've been doing this. Like, I remember, like, way back in the day, like, in a certain area of Oklahoma, right? And they've been building these houses like that, but just like the subdivisions and whatnot, I just remember my parents, they was talking about how close the houses were together and they didn't want to live like that. You know what I'm saying? And then growing up, they're still building these houses like this. Like, they're so close to each other. Like, the houses are literally damn near touching each other. There's probably this much space in between them. It's crazy.
Want $650,000 for these homes at what, 6.25% interest rates? Like, no wonder nobody can afford anything.
Right.
According to NBC, in Q2 of 2025, investors bought 1/3 of all single-family homes sold. 1/3 of homes in a 3-month period. And now they're not just buying homes, they're building entire neighborhoods that you can never own. These are
Man,
called built-to-rent communities.
man, I done seen one of these neighborhoods, bro. I seen one of them. They nice as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They got a swimming pool. It's damn near like an apartment complex, bro. They got the leasing office with the amenities there, and like the outside. Cause I was looking at it, I'm like, man, how much these homes cost? But then it's like I was seeing signs as I pulled into it, and it's like a gated community too, right? But it said lease now, leasing available. So I was just thinking to myself, is these all rentals? This is a rental neighborhood, like an apartment complex, but it's regular houses. How, Sway, as an investor, shit, I'm trying to buy something like that. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but it's fucking over the average person, bro, because like this whole neighborhood is you can only live in it if you're renting. That's crazy.
look like your
I didn't
average
even know they did shit like that.
subdivision, houses, driveways, backyards, but every single home is rental only.
Right.
Built to rent now accounts for 9% of all new single-family construction
9%. That's crazy, honestly.
in the US.
Damn.
Companies like Tricon, which is part of Blackstone's real estate portfolio, are building these in Texas, Arizona, South Carolina. Look at this. A 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,900 square feet in Texas with fees comes out to $2,911 a month.
Hey, that's just to rent that motherfucker.
Got the cheap vinyl flooring, bathroom tile from the early 2000s, and a
Right, because you paying HO. Look at this backyard, bro.
backyard.
Or is that the back or the front? That's the garage right there. Like, bro, they're building these shits like so close and so cheap together, like it's to increase the profits. This is how you know when they're trying to get all the profits they can. Like they've got the garage in the back, right, where that's taking up backyard space. Like just look at how this is built. It's crazy.
Size of a
This don't even look like a real house. This look like some like photo generated like 3D.
box, all for the low price of $3,000 a
Example.
month. Their idea of solving the housing crisis is you will never own a house. You will rent a house instead of an apartment, but each year they'll still increase your rent.
Man,
Well, I can't afford my
who
house.
the hell is paying $3,000 a month to rent a house, dog? What is that? A 3-bed? That's a 2.5. 4-bed, 2.5. 3,000. That's still high as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's nice. It's brand new, but you and it's only 1,800 square foot, 1,900 square foot. You know, it's not all that.
The cheap vinyl. Solving the housing crisis is you will never own a house. You will rent a house instead of an apartment, but each year they'll still increase your rent.
Well, I can't afford my house anymore. My mortgage just went up. When I first purchased this house, it was $169,000. And with all of the insurance and stuff added in, my monthly payment was $1,450 a month. Then my mortgage goes.
That's still kind of high. You must not put a whole lot of down on that. 169 and your payment was still damn near 1,500. It's tough.
Up, and they say,
When he bought that.
monthly payment was $1,450 a month. Then my mortgage goes up, and they say, the cost of materials have gone up. So
What materials?
in case anything happens to your house, we'd have to rebuild it. So the insurance has gone up, and then the value of the property went up.
See, this is one thing that I told my parents is because their whole mortgage is like escrowed in, right? So like the property taxes and the insurance is all through that. And see, what happens is these mortgage companies, these escrow companies, that third party company that where all that where you make that one payment and it's all included into one, is most people are not looking at their insurance policy and seeing like their limits and whatnot, their cost to replace value that they've got on their actual insurance. You need to look at what your home is worth. You need to look at your policy, right? and see if you are carrying too much of a limit on there, because then you could save money monthly, right? Just by going and getting a new quote at another company, or just looking at your policy and seeing what you can cut out of that can lower your payment a lot, bro. $100, $200 a month, just by switching up insurance companies or taking something off your policy that you don't necessarily need or you're paying too much for, bro. Straight up.
My payment went from,
Because a lot of people, there's nothing you could do about the taxes, right? It's nothing you gonna be able to do about the taxes. You can what's the word? Oh boy. You can man, what's the word I'm looking for? I ain't got it right now. It's a simple word, bro. But you can challenge your taxes, right? You can challenge your taxes, which means if because they're basing, say your home is worth $150,000, but they're basing the taxes off of the home value being $200,000. You could say, no, my home is not worth $200,000. It's only worth 150, 160, 180,000, right? And so at that point, if they find that to be true, they reappraise your home, reassess the value of your home, right? And it comes out to 180, that could lower your tax bill as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's things you can do about that. You don't just have to just go and get fucked all the time, you know?
rebuild it. So the insurance has gone up. And then the value of the property went up. My payment went from $1,450 to $1,740. My mortgage is now $2,500.
God damn, $2,500 on a home that was $169,000. I feel like, bro, property taxes should not go up until that home is sold, bro. Like, once you buy a home, year after year, your property taxes should not be going up, because it's based off of market value, right? They reassess your property value every single year, bro. But I don't think they should do that, because if now they say the home is worth $200,000, but last year it was worth $180,000, they gonna tax you on $200,000. But last year it was just 180, but the home didn't never sell. I bought it for 169. You know what I'm saying? So for me, my value on this is 169. I understand the market value, it appreciates this, that, and the third, but until that home sells, I don't feel like property taxes should be reassessed for the current buyer, bro. You know what I'm saying? That'll keep property taxes from keep increasing on these homeowners to where now they can't afford the home because the property taxes have increased. You know what I'm saying? It's the same people that's been having their home for all this time, right? They bought their home 20, 30 years ago, and now it's worth $1 million, and they can't afford the home no more because they're still getting taxed on it. I feel like if they was to sell that property, the new owner of that home that bought it for that $1 million or whatever the price is, then they should be taxed on that $1 million assessment and leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? If the home was to sell for $800,000 to 5 years later, then that buyer needs to be taxed on the assessed value of $800,000 when they bought the home. You know what I'm saying? And not it keep raising on them year after year. I don't feel like that's right.
It went from $1,450 to now $2,500.
Mortgages are on the rise. Property taxes keep going up. I mean, look at this house in New Jersey. 2-bedroom, 1-bath starter home hasn't been updated. $750,000.
Crazy. Thievery. But it doesn't cost you $750,000 to build that home, though. That's the crazy part. You know?
Property taxes.
But you can argue that the lot has went up in value, right? Okay, the lot went up in value, but still the lot value and to build that same 2-bed, 1-bath or 2-bed, 2-bath home, right? It's not going to cost you $750,000 altogether, bro. That's ridiculous.
It jumped 93% from 2024 to 2025.
That's because the home was probably bought for $350,000 back whenever, and then it's sold in 2025. And that's one thing that I be saying, like and that's kind of true. You know what I'm saying? To a point, though, to a point, as far as what I was saying, that they shouldn't raise the property taxes. Because if you look 2023, 2024, they were the same, but it did raise, you know, but it was based off of 351,000. And so it jumped up 93% because now the home sold for $680,000. If you bought that home for $680,000, you should be taxed on that, I feel like. But y'all see that in 2024 they didn't pay that price until it sold. The taxes weren't that high until it sold, you know?
Property tax bill is now over 20.
But regardless, they still keep raising. I don't feel like they should be raising. Because if you look back to 2020, it was probably under $10,000.
$1,000. The insanity that used to be a down payment. After rent, utilities, car payment, and every other bill, how is anyone supposed to save up for a $750,000 starter home that comes with a $20,000 tax bill? They can't.
Right.
And the reality is, for a lot of people who have bought, they're realizing that they can't afford it, so they're trying to sell. In Austin, Texas, 4.2% of homeowners are upside down. In Cape Coral, Florida, it's 7.8%. Foreclosures are up 14% from 2024. Sellers are removing their listings because they don't want to go below what they initially paid. We can see it on this listing.
Right.
On Google Trends, Sell My House keeps trending.
Yeah, bro, if you bought a home after 2022, bro, and you're looking to sell in 2026, it's gonna be rough for you, man, because home prices then were inflated due to low interest rates and the pandemic, bro. We printed all this money and cut interest rates, and you wonder why the price of everything has went up.
Top related query is sell my house fast. People aren't just casually listing their homes, they need out of their mortgage.
The economy got so bad, bro, we about to sell the house. The house is paid for, but there's still bills, there's still taxes, there's still maintenance on
The house is paid for and they still can't afford it.
house. The light bill was $450. The water bill this month was $250.
Well, it look like you got a pool
Ain't
back
nothing
there.
but two of us in this house. Get a trailer, man. Go buy a little small land in Tennessee somewhere, man. We can't do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If if your house is paid for and you're still complaining about the bills, you know you're gonna have a water bill and an electric bill. Now, electric bills is going up, and I don't like it because they build on all these data centers and shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why that shit keeps going up. You know, but if you complain about the property tax and but your house is paid off, something is wrong there. Something is wrong that I don't understand.
Do this city shit no more, man. It's getting hard.
And if it's this bad for people who are still working, imagine the people on a fixed income who have retired.
Right,
if a senior
right.
bought a home for $200,000, paid it off over 30 years, and that home is now valued at $2 million,
$2 million is crazy.
They owe taxes on a $2 million asset, even though they've never owned $2 million.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's what I was saying, bro. Like, if you bought the home for $200,000 and it's now worth $1 million, $2 million, bro. Why are you being taxed on that? Those taxes, they shouldn't be able to get that amount in taxes, bro, unless that home sells again, bro. You know, like the property taxes that you pay once you buy the home should be locked in. I'm not even saying just completely do away with property taxes, because I understand property taxes do a big part in schools and in your community in general. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like once that home is sold, then that should be the set tax rate on that home. It shouldn't be that over 30 years that the price of the home is increasing. Yes, but the home was never sold. It was still only bought for $200,000. Like, I don't feel that, because that homeowner is not seeing that equity. They're not seeing that benefit of gain in that property. It's not like, unless they're renting it out, maybe, you know, then that's a little bit different, because now they could charge market rents or whatever, but still their payment is still so low, like it compared to it's whenever they bought the home. So their mortgage is set, especially if they got a fixed rate. You know, their mortgage, their principal and interest is still so low, so that they could actually undercut the market and get and offer a better deal than what a new landlord that just bought a property in that same neighborhood could offer, because their expenses are obviously going to be higher.
They're on a fixed income, and when they can't pay, the state can and does foreclose. Adults over 65 are now the fastest growing homeless demographic in the country.
Congratulations on paying off
your house. They're the ones that own the homes.
Thank you. I finally own my home. I love that for you. Now pay property taxes. For what?
And it's like property taxes have been increasing way faster than their retirement portfolios have been.
For owning the home. But I already paid for the home. Yes. That was for the structure. And the land? That's rented. For who? Us. For how long? Forever. And if I stop paying, we take the house. But I bought it. Correct. And now you maintain it for us. So this is renting. No. This is home ownership. So what did I actually buy? A lifetime subscription with surprise price increases.
But if you can't afford a traditional home, there are alternatives, modular or manufactured homes built in a factory.
Man, it's crazy. I've myself been considering this because, they are cheaper. I would not necessarily want to live in a trailer park, but if I could find me a decent land, put a manufactured home on it, I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that. Now, I live in Oklahoma. Tornadoes might sweep that motherfucker straight off the ground. You know what I'm saying? Ain't never no telling. But, man, tell me why I wouldn't have looked at a trailer home, right, that was listed in a trailer park, right, and the HO fees came out to $600 or something a month, bro. So the total monthly payment that you would be paying on that property came out to like $1,100. The trailer was only like $80,000. It's still listed on Zillow right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, $80,000 for this trailer, man. That's kind of a good deal. I mean, that's probably pretty cheap. Like, I imagine that like this would be affordable. So let me just go look at the numbers on this. Man, I come to find out, nigga, they charging $600, like $650 a month in HOA fees, bro. That is insane, bro. And it made the payment of an $86,000 trailer, $1,100 a month, bro. That's crazy.
The next layer down in the funnel. For years, this was considered a real path to affordable home ownership. Today, over 20 million Americans live in manufactured homes. There were over 26,000 shipments in the first quarter of 2025 alone. That's up nearly 8% from 2024.
Man.
But the average cost of a new manufactured home is now $109,000. Multi-section.
Right. Now imagine if you got to put that into a HOA community, right? Now, manufactured homes are different than like trailer homes. Manufactured homes don't necessarily get put in. I guess that still could count as a trailer home though, but most manufactured homes, they're like way bigger than your average trailer that's put on wheels and whatnot. Manufactured homes, I don't think are like set up like trailer homes to where you can move them from trailer park to trailer park. I may be wrong though.
Homes, the larger ones, are on average $164,000. But that doesn't include land.
Crazy.
You need somewhere to put it. And
if you put it out in the country, you're gonna need to buy that land. Not only are you probably spending who knows how much depending on acreage and all that, but you gotta if there's not already water, electric, a sewer, gas there, you gotta pay the plumber and the electrician to get all that stuff ran from the main or from wherever they gonna get it from, right, to your house. And that can cost you another $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 alone.
Just like everything else, land prices are skyrocketing.
So all in, you $200,000 in that whenever you could just go buy you a house probably somewhere else.
Many people place their manufactured home on a rented lot. You own the home, but you rent the small plot of land underneath it. Just like how billionaires are buying up all the single-family homes, they're also buying these manufactured home lots. 23 private equity firms now own more than 1,900 manufactured home parks with over 400,000 land lots. They're becoming landlords, literally.
Paul Bojanic owns his...
Right, you got to pay $650 a month in HOA fees.
Manufactured home, but rents the lot it sits on in the Copper Sun 55 and up community. This summer, he got a notice.
Oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack.
That his rent would be increasing to market value from roughly $600 to over $1,100.
I couldn't believe the amount of money that it's gone up. I mean, we're a community of retirees, people with disabilities.
Moving a
So their rent. So was they renting the entire trailer, or that was just the lot of land that they was renting? That's crazy.
manufactured home costs between $5,000 and $15,000, with many of these homes being too old to actually move. So people become trapped. And when they can't pay and they need to leave, guess who buys their home? The same people who trapped them. According to investors, it's become one of the highest returning assets in real estate because of one simple truth. People have nowhere else to go. But it gets worse.
That's crazy.
Clayton Homes controls over 50% of the manufactured home market, and they're owned by none other than Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah,
But
of
Berkshire
course.
didn't just buy the factory, they've bought the entire pipeline. Clayton built
This is why it pays to be an investor, bro. If you're not investing, you're losing at life, bro. And the average person do not invest into stocks and real estate in no type of way, bro. You know?
the homes. Vanderbilt Mortgage and 21st Mortgage, both Berkshire subsidiaries, finance the loan. Home First Agency, another subsidiary, sells the insurance. And Berkshire has investments in companies that are buying the land underneath the homes.
How is this not illegal? This is a fucking monopoly. I thought you can't sell somebody the insurance. You can't sell them the loan, the insurance, or the property.
Manufacture the home, they finance it, they insure it, and when people can't pay, they take it back. One company owns the entire life cycle from factory to foreclosure.
That's crazy.
The CFPB is currently suing
Monopoly.
Vanderbilt. They allege Vanderbilt handed out mortgages knowing people couldn't pay. In one case, their own calculation showed a family of 5 would have $57 left in monthly income after the mortgage payment. Just $57, and they approved the loan anyway.
Still approved it. No, that's predatory, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because they already know. It's the same thing that these car salesmen do. They sell you these payments because on the back end, these banks and stuff, they gonna make more money by giving this to you at this high monthly payment, right? They know you're not gonna be able to afford it, and so you default on the loan, right? And then they go sell the car for whatever it's worth, market value, apply that to your loan balance, right? And then you're stuck with whatever's left. And then the same process just keeps repeating, bro. It's a snowball effect.
So these people are going into debt for these homes, and look at what they're getting.
And so let this be your daily reminder to never buy a Clayton home. They use what they apparently call conjolium. They tried to tell us that
These are the cheapest made things you could buy.
Was an upgraded version of linoleum. So this is particle board.
OSB.
This is the floor, and I'll just show you. This is literally like look how thin that is. Imagine being so excited to find.
So basically, this is the subfloor right here. This wood that y'all see, that's OSB, oriented strand board, right? That's basically what you use on the outer shell and for the subfloor of a home, right? And on top of that is this super thin flooring. That's crazy, yo. That's crazy. That's not even like a real flooring. That's like some painted on. It look like it's painted on there, and it's just you can easily chip it away.
This is literally like look how thin that is.
Right. That's paper.
Imagine being so excited to find your first home, and just months after moving in, it is covered in mold. It is a 2022 manufactured home, modular home, whatever you want to call it, a trailer. We went through Clayton Homes, and instantly we started having issues.
If you are considering getting a mobile home, please, please, please do not buy Clayton. This problem right here has been fixed 3 times. It's actively raining outside, like heavy thunderstorm. And I had to cut the power to my stove. Like I can't even cook right now.
So I was contracted to work on this mobile home. I had to replace some of the vinyl. I was surprised at what's under the vinyl. There is no plywood. There's this cardboard. And under that cardboard is the insulation. And on the side of the insulation is the sheetrock. That's something. I've never seen a structure that you live in that didn't have OSB minimum on the exterior of the structure. This is some of the cheapest stuff
Yeah, man, you get one good wind in that, bro. Your whole home is gone, bro. And most people that buy these are not in the best financial situations. Like they don't make the most, like they don't make very good money, bro. You know what I'm saying? They don't even make decent money, you know? And so like for them to lose their home, yeah, insurance may pay, but how much of that is going to actually cover that? And then it's like they have to steal. It's not going to be enough to where that they can still go and buy another home with that, bro. That's fucked up, bro.
Cheap. You're living in a cardboard house.
That's why you got to know what you're paying for, though. At the same time, man, you got to do better research, man. And know, you should be knowing this stuff before you even get yourself locked in it. You should know how thin them walls are. If a good gust of wind come through, it can knock your whole house down. You should know this. And you should be prepared. You don't go buy a home and then spend your whole savings on the down payment. And now it's like, okay, now you're jumping into payments. You have no savings. You always got to have that cushion and that wiggle room for emergencies. You know what I'm saying? They call it an emergency fund. Whenever you go buy that home, you go buy that trailer home or whatever it is, bro. Even a car, you still need wiggle room for whatever emergencies happen. So if your down payment is going to be $20,000, you need to have another $10,000, another $20,000 that you're not going to spend on that for repairs and whatever may come your way. You may lose your job. You never know what could happen.
I'm not here to shame anyone for purchasing a manufactured home, but I will shame this quality. People think they're buying an affordable housing option when in reality, just like so many products today, it's built as cheaply as possible and sold at the highest possible price. When owning a traditional home is out of reach, what's left? Social media calls it van life. We need to call van life what it actually
homelessness.
is. It's displacement. Over 480,000 Americans now live in RVs full time. That's double the 2021 figure. And the crazy part, it used to be that manufactured home production outpaced RV production by 18%, but that's no longer the case. RV production now outpaces manufactured homes by a ratio of 4-to-1. And remember Berkshire Hathaway? They own Clayton Homes and the mortgage companies. Well, they also own 3 of the largest RV brands in the US. The pattern is simple.
That's crazy. I need to put some money in Berkshire Hathaway. That's why they stock price is $500,000.
Traditional homes unaffordable, buy up the alternatives, and then make those unaffordable as well. They understand that when rent is astronomical, we will look for alternative living solutions, and they've already bought them. And as a result, RV living is becoming more expensive than living in a house.
People keep asking me how much does it cost for us to live full-time up here in North Dakota in our RV. Rent cost is only $545 a month, and then we also have to pay for our trailer, which is
rent cost is only $545 a month.
Part of our debt,
in North Dakota, and they're paying $1,000 a month. How long can you get loans on RVs for? I need to Google that. Let's see. How long do loans go on a RV? Because can you get like a 30-year mortgage on that? Give me the AI mode. Come on now. 10 to 15 years. They could be as short as 2 years or as long as 20, depending on the loan amount and the age of the vehicle. Yeah, that also. I mean, if it's not a self-driving RV, you know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that would help as far as like the age? But then it's like they won't even loan. So you could go find you a good deal on an older mobile home, but if it's got so many miles on it, they won't even loan it to you. You know what I'm saying? Under $25,000, often capped between 6 and 10 years. $25,000 to $74,000 typically qualify for a term of up to 15 years. So what is the average price of an RV right now, man? Let's just go see brand new RVs. Yeah, they broke out in a beach. Yeah. $208,000. Now these are driving ones. Let's say camper, because that's what they'd be, campers. And let's just kind of like see. So you got $32,000. It's a 2025. And then you need the truck to even pull it. You know what I'm saying? And take it with you. So it's like that's another expense. You probably got a payment on that. All together for this setup, you paying, and you know your loan terms are not going to be as long, obviously, especially on a truck, and then on these campers, They only go into like 10, 15 years, so that's gonna make your payment a little bit higher, bro. But I mean, I imagine 10 years on something that's $32,000 could not be crazy long. I don't know exactly, but I could see you easily paying over $1,000 a month, and most people that are living in these are already not making a whole lot of money, bro. That's the point.
$50 a month for that payment, and then my husband's truck payment is $1,000. Our insurance for both of our cars is $429, and our trailer insurance is $97. We also pay $60 for Wi-Fi. We pay $192 for our phones, and then $100 for subscriptions. Between food and gas, we're spending around $1,000 a month. We spend around $80 a month on laundry, which brings our total to $4,553.
Jesus Christ, they're spending more than I am. Hey, yo, they spend my monthly expenses, bro. I live in an apartment, dog. You know what I'm saying? And my expenses, I just paid off my car, so my expenses came down even more. But for just my bills alone, it's about $1,600 a month, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. They doing something wrong right there.
A month to live in this RV.
So after the truck payment, the RV payment, and various expenses, $4,500 to live in an RV. I don't know about you, but that does not sound very affordable to me. But it's only going to get worse. Equity Lifestyle Properties now owns more.
If you're paying $4,500 a month to live in an RV, I think you're doing something wrong. I just told you I live in an apartment. Now I'm in Oklahoma, but it's a lot of people out here that live in these trailers and these RVs and whatnot. I could get me a much nicer apartment for sure if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm intentionally trying to keep my expenses as low as I can comfortably keep them, right? So that I can buy a home, bro, put enough down and still have that emergency fund, bro. You know?
Than 200 RV resorts and campgrounds across the US and Canada, over 91,000 sites. They're not building these campgrounds for families to go on vacation.
Nope.
They're building them because people have nowhere else to go. And this isn't me speculating, this is in their own SEC filings. We believe millennial and Gen Z demographic will contribute to our future long-term customer pipeline. They then go on to talk about a study, and the conclusion of the study was that demand from millennial and Gen Z would continue to outpace supply for manufactured home and RV communities. It then goes on to say, the entitlement process to develop new manufactured home and RV communities is extremely restrictive. As a result, there have been limited new communities developed in our target demographic markets. Meaning it's hard for other companies to develop communities, so therefore we have to live in theirs, and they are going to jack up the prices.
Come with us as two 19-year-olds turning a shed into our home.
Back here is where the bathroom is going to be. This is going to be the laundry room. Right here will be like the kitchen, the stove. I'm going to have like a little island. And then over here, the living room.
And this right here is actually a tiny home, tough shed from Home Depot. 2 stories.
That's a shed? That don't look bad. Yeah, sad.
860 square feet, 1 bedroom, full kitchen, full living room.
When everything becomes unaffordable, you get people buying storage sheds from Home Depot and...
Man, they've been building these sheds more and more like homes. You know what I'm saying? Because they already know people been living in them. I be seeing them here and there. You know? I be seeing them here and there.
Converting them into homes. That's how desperate things have gotten. Here's one on Home Depot's website right now.
Oh, no.
Build-it-yourself kit, 10 by 12 feet, $3,343. It's clearly a shed, but look at the description. The windmere has shed DNA, but begs to be more than a storage shed. They know exactly who's buying these and what they're doing with them. And the reviews
and the prices just keep going up on them because people know that they're turning them into homes.
Permit. People are converting these into tiny homes, adding plumbing, electricity. It's the new affordable option. And they're now building these sheds to look more like house than shed. They come with windows and upstairs, siding, the works. Looking at this, it made me wonder, is private equity involved in the shed industry? And I don't know why I thought the answer could be anything other than, of course they are. Cyprium Partners made a $30 million investment in backyard products, and by 2017, their COO was bragging that they were producing more storage sheds than anyone in North America. And he specifically noted that accessory dwelling units were an emerging category. Even in 2017, they noticed people converting these sheds into living spaces and thought, let's capitalize on that. That Home Depot shed I just showed you, it's one of 7 brands owned by Backyard Products, the same company that received private equity backing. Billionaires are buying up every affordable housing alternative, things that arguably shouldn't even count as alternatives in the first place. So what are people supposed to do? Be homeless? No, because the Supreme...
And mind you though, you might can find you a shed that's relatively cheap, but you still have to buy that lot. You still have to run plumbing. You still have to run electric to it, bro. And that just jacks up the cost right there. So it's like long term, you're really not even building equity. You know what I'm saying? You're just drowning in negative equity because no one's ever gonna buy that home for the money that you put into it. You know?
Supreme Court made that illegal in 2024. So then it's because the... So what are people supposed to do? Be homeless? No, because the Supreme Court made that illegal in 2024.
It's illegal to be homeless.
So then it's the for-profit prisons, the $4 billion industry where private equity is already running the phones, the food. And
Right. We run you out of your own home, right? Now you're homeless, but it's illegal to be homeless. So now you have to come to our jails where we get tax money to take care of you and profit off of that. You know what I'm saying? And you work to be a slave, getting paid pennies.
The healthcare. That's the bottom of the funnel.
It's a place for someone to live in full time for months or years at a time, where they live in a recreational vehicle, in an RV. This is a business I've been in for about 7 years. They have very small RV parks out there that are 3 to 10 pad sites that are about 3 to 10 times more profitable than buying a single family home as a rental. So I don't understand why people buy single family homes, because
well, single family homes have never really been where your profit is going to be. It's always going to be in multiple units for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can always run the number on one property, on one single family home, and all you're ever going to make, even with a 10% return on your money, 20% return on your money, is just a few $100s off of that property. You're not really making your money as an investor in real estate unless you have multiple units, like duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, or apartment buildings. You know what I'm saying? Or unless that single family home is paid for in cash or just paid down after you lived in it. You know, you're only gonna make so much money, and you know, most of the time it's really not worth it to buy a single family home as a rental. You know,
like buying a small RV park costs the same, but is significantly more profitable.
Yeah. I mean, as an investor, you go where the money's at. It's just unfortunate for the average person, man. This is why I say, man, you got to be invested, man, because that's what you're always going to be losing if you're not invested in some type of way. And it doesn't have to just be real estate to where you're an asshole landlord and you're just trying to raise the profits. And nah, man, you can invest your money into the stock market, bro, and get a return. At least you're not losing to inflation. The whole point of investing is to preserve wealth, to grow it, and to beat inflation, bro. You know, and to maybe one day be able to live off of your investments. You know, people these days, like they're spending $4,500 a month to live in that RV, bro. I think it's something wrong there. You know, like. People, man, us Americans, it's not even just Americans, but I'm gonna speak for Americans, bro. A lot of people are materialistic. They want to go get a new car soon as they pay off their old one. They want the nicest stuff, and you know, they take out a lot of debt. You know, driving up their monthly expenses to where they can't afford things, to where they can't invest at all. And you got to make that change right there if you actually want your life to not get fucked over in life. You know what I'm saying? If you actually ever want to own anything, bro. That's why I'm trying to keep my expenses as low as possible. I don't want to live in this apartment forever. I already know that they gonna keep raising my rent. My renewal come up in like June. So I'm gonna see what they talk about. I've already been debating if I wanted to move or not. You know what I'm saying? If I move, I know I'm gonna have to get into something more expensive, you know, and I don't really want that to eat into my savings and into my investing because, you know, I don't want to be stuck in that cycle, you know, and I don't ever want to go backwards. I only want to go forward. So if I can't go forward into living into a home, I'm not going to go or to saving up to where I can move into a home, buy a home. I'm not going to go move to another apartment that's more comfortable, that's more nicer. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just stay and then get into a position to where, oh, they're raising the rent on me and it's just eating into my pockets. And now I have to cut back on investing and saving just to accommodate that. No, I'm going to just stay where I'm at. And they gonna raise the rents. Hopefully it ain't no $300. I don't think it will be. I don't even think it's gonna be $100. If it is, then oh well. You know what I'm saying? In a couple of years I'll be able to move out of here. You know what I'm saying? And get me something because I've kept my expenses low. You know, and I'll be able to buy me a primary residence, you know. But man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. We on the road to 100K. Okay, if you want to hit that like button, subscribe button, and turn on all notifications, slap the dog shit about yourself, because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. I'll get at y'all on the next one, and I'm gone. See what I hit in that.